Joyce Eng, looking at your current Oscar predictions, and we have to underscore that because we're days away from the Golden Globes, and we know that will change all of our predictions. But at this point, on the eve of Golden Globes, you have Lady Bird winning picture, actress, supporting actress, original screenplay. That's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Okay. So explain to me your Lady Bird.
They're mostly placeholders, but I do think Lady Bird can win picture just because of the preferential ballot. And I feel like it's the most palatable to voters. I don't feel like people rank it that low on their ballots, which is what hurts something like Three Billboards, which has incurred some backlash already. It might have bigger backlash coming up. And I just feel like it'll get a lot of 2s and 3 votes. And it could just, I don't think it would win if it was just a field of 5 and a plurality vote. But I feel like the people who don't rank it number 1 would just still have it in like their top 3, top 5. So that's what I have right now. I can see Get Out doing the same thing, but I feel like the genre bias might hold it back, especially with the older Academy voters, even though the demographics are drastically changing. So maybe the new members will push Get Out over the edge. But I feel like I could see either of those 2 winning. And Three Billboards has also been really strong so far. So if there is a more backlash, I could see that going all the way too.
Yeah, I could too. I'm keeping it at the top of my Oscar predictions on the eve of the Globes because I know, having heard from the members, they love Three Billboards. It overachieved at the nominations of the Globes, so it could do really well there. What you're saying about Lady Bird as the number 2 vote really is the thing we need to focus on as pundits, of course, and that is that this game of predicting now has to do with strategy, where it's no longer the movie with the most number 1 votes. It's this ranking, and a lot of us believe that's how Moonlight was. Regardless of whatever you put in first place, Moonlight was your second choice, and
Spotlight.
And Spotlight, the same thing, right? So what is everybody's second choice? You're right. It's probably not Three Billboards. It's so divisive. I don't think it's Get Out. I think it's so divisive as a genre film, as you say. But and Call Me by Your Name, I believe, is somewhat divided.
Call Me by Your Name. I'm kind of shocked at how badly it's doing so far.
No, it's SAG. It did terrible.
And it didn't get an Ace Eddie nomination this morning. Like Molly's Game got in over it.
Yeah. And Shape of Water you've got down at 7. That could win the Golden Globe on Sunday. It's right up there. So in terms of, I'm just giving you my opinion now of the movies that can win Best Picture. Lady Bird, Three Billboards. I don't think Get Out can win. I think The Post can win. Dunkirk, okay, maybe. I don't think Call You by Your Name. Shape of Water can. How do you disagree with that lineup or what I've just said?
I mostly agree because I haven't updated my predictions in a couple weeks either. But yeah, I feel like Shape of Water would win in a field of 5. And I think it could still win. I mean, it just depends on how many rounds it goes, And I could also see it'll have the most nominations, probably like either that or Dunkirk. But it also has actor nominations.
Nominations. I mean, that's going to get.
It could, yeah. But I mean, it'll be up there. It'll be like one of the top 3 of the most nominations. But
the movie with the most nominations doesn't win anymore.
No.
Moonlight certainly didn't.
Yeah, and they usually like to reward the technical achievement in director now. And because of the preferential ballot, it's like an important movie. I mean, Shape of Water has an important message too, like about empathy and inclusivity. But I also feel like with this past year with the Me Too movement and the sexual harassment and everything, and it's also way long overdue for a female-led film to win. The last one was $1 Million Baby, and this one is written and directed by a woman as well. So I feel like that also helps Greta getting into director.
She's did not get in at the Globes, of course. It's hit and miss for her. But I agree that the movie is beloved and widely respected. It's a kind of a quiet movie. Not a lot happens in it, which is one thing that concerns me about picking it and joining you there. I've got Guillermo in second place, excuse me, in first place to win, and Christopher Nolan, I think, in second place, and then Greta. But you've got Nolan out front, and you were just talking about this technical achievement thing, which we have to explain is, yeah, I mean, it's Life of Pi was the most spectacular achievement, directorially, and that ended up winning, etc. Inarritu's Revenant. Gravity, yeah. So knowing as you do, they love the Latin directors. Why are you going for Nolan over Del Toro, for right now, anyway?
I like he has like some of an IOU. I feel like,
he's never been nominated for director at the
not for director, yeah.
He was nominated.
And I could see them giving it to Del Toro. I might switch to him, and then like the three amigos can all have directing Oscars.
Right.
And yeah, like I can't, like their relationship with Nolan is so weird, like they just nominated for screenplay and Dark Knight missed Best Picture, and then they changed their whole Best Picture lineup. So, and yeah, but I could see, like, if it's like just, if they're going to vote based on just technical achievement, I think it's just between those two.
Let's go back to Get Out, because this is something I don't understand. It's overperforming everywhere. And you nailed it with your SAG-Nom predictions. You actually had Get Out being nominated for Ensemble and The Post not getting nominated. Am I right?
No, I had The Post in there. I had...
But you knew it was vulnerable. And, of course, it did not get in. So what was your thinking there? Because that was bold thinking.
For Get Out, I just felt like it was so obvious, and I was shocked when I looked at like all the other experts and no one else had Get Out. I was like, I kind of like doubted myself. I was like, am I crazy here?
It's a horror movie. It has comedic qualities to it.
Well, because like SAG is the most populous group, and now with SAG-AFTRA, it's not just actors. It's just, it's like news anchors and like weathermen voting too. It's and like it's been out since February 24th. Like people have had time to watch this movie, digest it, rewatch it. It's on HBO now. It's on DVD, and people love this movie. It made a ton of money, and there's a bunch of think pieces about it, and people just have had the time to like sit with it.
Right. And
it just feels important, and it just felt like, there's been like SAG Ensemble nominations in the past, like Straight Outta Compton. It's just like a very populous movie getting in, and a movie that had been out earlier in the year. Because I feel like after The Post missing, it was a late movie. We don't know like if the Nomcom, everyone in Nomcom got the screeners. Like I feel like we know like they don't blind vote. Like they didn't just vote for The Post because it had Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks and all these peak TV actors in it, and it was a huge ensemble. Like we know they like voting for stuff that they've seen, and we know they've seen Get Out.
That they probably in SAG-Nomcom didn't see The Post, right? That's why, because it's got all the hallmarks of an ensemble nomination.
Yeah.
You mentioned the TV. Normally that's like Argo or something. They like to have that TV star component in there. These are actors who like to be able to see a movie with both film and TV stars all in one happy family, and so that was in its favor.
Yeah, but I feel like now we know they just don't like check it off if they haven't seen it. Like I feel like they want to see it.
Yeah, but now they have seen it, of course.
So now maybe they're just like, oh damn it, I couldn't vote for it. Yeah, right. So that's why like I feel like Meryl can still get in to the Oscars. I'm not sure about Tom Hanks, but
no, Meryl will get in at the Oscars.
Yeah. So,
you got her down here as a nominee too. She could win the Globe, and that could kind of. She gave that great performance on stage last year. She could do it. You have Saoirse winning Best Actress. I've got Frances McDormand. What's your thinking here?
If they go, I mean, in recent years, the person who wins Best Actress is usually a young ingenue or an older, respected veteran. The past two have been ingenues, and Saoirse has been in this rodeo a bunch of times, way more than Brie Larson and Emma Stone. This will be her third nomination. She's 23 years old. It's like the right age. And if they really like Lady Bird as much as we think they may, then you have to give it to Lady Bird herself, And I feel like they would know that Frances has won before. I mean, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility of her winning a second Oscar, but if they really like Lady Bird, they could just check off Saoirse.
Yeah. Sally Hawkins, we shouldn't write her off, right? She could win.
No.
There's the Shape of Water sweep at the Globes.
Yeah.
That kind of reboots her. She was not nominated for Happy Go Lucky at the Oscars. She had won the Globe for that. She was nominated for Blue Jasmine, so they are aware of her. She's certainly good for a nomination here, and she plays the role, and she plays the vulnerable characters. Very sexual. They love that.
It's also very expressive, like her scene with Richard Jenkins, like that's like her clip.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, I feel like it's between those three, and I feel like the nominees right now for Best Actress are pretty much locked. It's those three: Meryl Streep and probably Margot Robbie.
Right.
But we don't really know who's going to win yet. And I could totally see like different people picking up all the precursors along the way, like supporting actress 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And then Tilda Swinton won. And that was also when Saoirse was nominated her first time.
Gary Oldman, you've got out front. I had him out front until all of a sudden this whole Timothée thing has been taking off. He's on the ground working it at the events. He's really campaigning. This is how you win Oscars. And Franco is certainly out there campaigning heavily too. We don't know who's going to win the Globe yet. Size this up. Are you confident of Gary Oldman winning?
Yeah, I feel like because the whole body gets to vote for the actual winner, I feel like he's so respected, and like he just feels like he should have an Oscar by now, and it's such a Beatty role and performance that they'll just give it to him. And yeah, I love Timothée Chalamet and Call Me by Your Name, but I also feel like his age works against him. He's so young. He just turned 22.
Right.
Like Eddie Redmayne was the first Best Actor winner to be born in the 80s to win, and he was 33 when he won.
Right.
So Timothy would be the first person born in the 90s to be nominated and then to win.
And he won because he had the best campaign. You know, everyone thought.
Yeah, and it was also a Beatty role. Like I feel like he has, like Gary Oldman has what Eddie Redmayne had, like the real life person, transformation, Beatty role performance, and he's also a respected veteran.
But he's also a noted Republican and a sympathizer, and he's not campaigning vigorously. He's at the important things he needs to be at, but he's not opening new car washes like Timothée.
Yeah, I feel like he doesn't need to do too much because he is such a well-known quantity, you know?
Right.
Like he could just do like the bare minimum, whereas someone like Timothy does need to go out
and do it, and seize the moment. James Franco could win the Globe. This could if he really grandstands there beautifully at the podium, and he knows how to do that. There could be this little James Franco train that takes off, because that movie, it's like, you know, Disaster Artist is like Get Out. These are the anarchists. If you're a secret anarchist or a contrarian in Hollywood, and everybody is, these are the movies that you go to just upset the apple cart, right? And
but it's also a movie about Hollywood and dreamers.
Yeah.
And like the voters will relate to that. Like they know what it's like. And The Room was a cult hit. Like it's gonna have its own fans. Like they'll bring their own fans. Like Tommy Wiseau has his own cult following.
Right.
I feel like he's in for a nomination. I would actually love to see him win, and love to have Tommy Wiseau be an Oscar-winning performance. So I don't think he's gonna win, but I think he can make it in there. Like he's hit everything so far.
He has.
Unlike Daniel Day-Lewis and Tom Hanks.
Now, for supporting actress, you've got Laurie Metcalf out front. I agree with that, and I think Allison Janney in second place. I see your logic to that. But you've got Mary J. Blige down there in fifth place. And if there's going
I don't feel good about that.
Yeah, I think
just the Netflix bias. I don't know whether to keep her or cut her.
In the Oscars, you know, we'll go with the Chers or the Frank Sinatras, the pop singers now and then. I think that you need to move her up higher. I think that she could win the Globe. If she wins the Globe, that will certainly make this race more competitive with just Laurie versus Allison here. You agree that could happen, right?
Yeah. Like because I feel like Mudbound, because adapted screenplay is so thin, like Mudbound will get in for adapted screenplay, and then it'll just be like on their minds. Right. And they'll think of Mary J. Blige, and she's out there, like she's campaigning.
She is.
So I think I'll end up keeping her. I don't know about like Octavia Spencer. You know, she missed SAG, but she's also so respected and beloved. Like she coattailed last year in with Hidden Figures, and she could just coattail in again this year in Shape of Water.
Yeah, I see you don't have her. No, that's
Yeah, I took her out after she missed SAG and Shape of Water missed Ensemble. And Hong Chow surprised everyone and made the cut.
yeah.
Yeah, but
Globe,
she could also be, you know, one of the Globe and SAG people who miss Oscar.
right. Jumping over to supporting actor, you've got Willem Dafoe there. He leads the Gold Derby odds. But Stuhlbarg has the speech, you know.
I know.
And they love.
I want him to get in.
And oh, you're rooting first, Michael
Yeah.
Stuhlbarg? And then Sam Rockwell, of course, is the veteran actor, stage, film, the rest of it, who's got this really wonderful role in Three Billboards that just the big surprise of the movie turns on him. And he really emotes big, which they like. And then there's the Christopher Plummer thing, where he has a formidable role in All the Money in the World and won this category a couple years ago and is coming to the rescue of that film and Hollywood because of the Kevin Spacey stuff. Why do you have Plummer in 5th place? You know he's got better odds than Richard Jenkins, right?
I just put him in a couple weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I can totally, because for the longest time I was unsure about this category because I had double nominations for Armie Hammer and Michael Stuhlbarg, and I wasn't feeling good about that because it's been 26 years since there's been double nominees in this category.
Really? Wow.
And yeah, since Bugsy. So and then, you know, like they weren't hitting the precursors, like not even like Critics Awards and stuff. So I felt like I had to take one of them out, and Woody Harrelson made SAG. But then, you know, the whole like Plummer thing happened with the Globes, and I feel like this, like he has a narrative to get in.
Yeah.
And he could be the oldest nominee with the youngest performance. Like he literally shot this movie a month ago and he could make it in, and he's got the reviews. Like he's good in the movie, and it's not just a cameo.
Right.
Like he's in a substantial amount of the movie and he's good.
About 20 minutes of it, yeah. Now back to Willem Dafoe, who you have in 1st place. That fits the profile of veteran actor.
Yeah.
Being honored here. He does have a lead role in supporting. That helps. There's no supporting. There's no lead actor above him in that movie, not male anyway. So I could see that happening, but Florida Project is not going to do well in other categories, according to most of us. But yet, sometimes you could be that Still Alice movie, like with Julianne Moore, and if you're just the veteran they want to give an Oscar to, they don't care if it doesn't pop up in other categories. And that said, Florida Project could pop up in other categories.
I could see Sean Baker getting into director. Like
yes, that could happen, and it is
that profile of that like indie, like visionary, like Ben Zeitlin for Beasts of the Southern Wild.
Right.
I could see the director field, like it's so crowded. I could see it like DGA going 2 for 5 again, like 5 years ago when it was just like Ang Lee and Spielberg transferring over.
Yeah.
So I think like
what you're thinking on Dafoe winning then?
Just because he's, you know, a respected veteran, like, and this is the category to go for it in there, and it's a lovely performance. It's very subtle, and we know, like, after Mark Rylance, they don't have a problem with that, you know, and even after Casey Affleck last year, you know. So, and then he's kind of surprised me in how well he's doing with the Critics Awards. I mean, I know there's not always a correlation with critics and industry, but he's won so many of them, and Sam Rockwell is catching up, and it could all turn this weekend with the Globes. Like, you know, like Plummer could win, or like Armie Hammer could win. But I feel like he, you know, he's just like the older character actor. He's worked with everybody, and it's just like a way of, you know, he feels like he should have an Oscar. You know, he was nominated for Platoon. It's been 16 years or 17 years since he was last nominated.
As original screenplay, you've got Lady Bird. This is your Lady Bird love coming out again. And then Get Out in 2nd place. Three Billboards in 3rd, The Post, and then Shape of Water.
I might switch that to Get Out because I feel like they would want to give Jordan Peele something.
Really? Okay, wow.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I feel like it's between like those two and like maybe outside chance for Three Billboards. But I feel like whatever's winning screenplay will bode well for a picture.
Why do you have Shape of Water in fifth place though? Because the Shape of Water train could start this weekend at the Globes and take off and
Yeah.
get this contender momentum.
I just like I didn't really know where to put it. Honestly, like I've been taking it out and like putting like Big Sick in and even like Phantom Thread. Like it's this like race is so crowded.
Right.
But I think I took it out after it missed SAG just because I was like the SAG ensemble and like Octavia missed too.
Right.
But I mean obviously like that's not the same voting body, so but yeah, I feel like it'll definitely like need a nomination to strengthen its argument because the past couple best picture winners, like they've won a screenplay award to go along with it.
Of course, yeah. So speaking of that pairing of Best Picture and another category, film editing is that one that we all look to, and you've got Dunkirk winning there, and Shape of Water, Three Billboards, The Post, and Get Out. What did we learn today with the Ace Eddie nominations versus this list? Is anything there making you think you might?
Molly's Game got.
Yeah, I know that was wild.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know, like because sometimes like they just go for the most edited movie,
right?
But like these big films like Dunkirk and like even like I don't have Blade Runner in there, but something like that, like it could get in and it could win. So sometimes it doesn't have any correlation to Best Picture. Like the one of the Bourne movies, it won this, and we know that it wasn't nominated for Best Picture. So I don't know. Like I feel like Get Out will get in because it has flashy editing, but I could also see something like Baby Driver get in,
Yeah, that could definitely happen. Yeah.
Yeah, so I could see this like having it would just depend on like what the nominees are and if it would matter ultimately for Best Picture or not. Like Birdman didn't get nominated, we all remember. So
right. Now, I still have not seen the foreign language films. Have you seen these? Do you have your predictions?
I've only seen Angelina Jolie's, which did not make the cut.
Yeah. Right.
So these I think I just made based on everyone else's predictions.
Yeah, we have a lot of catch up to do here.
Yeah. Yeah, I try to watch that and the shorts like during like the month in between.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the others that you've got are pretty solid, like Darkest Hour for makeup. That makes sense given Gary Oldman's prosthetics. Phantom Thread for costumes. Yeah, Beauty and the Beast could pull off an upset there, but Phantom Thread is more elegant and more.
Yeah, it's prestige.
Less prestigious, thank you. And you've got Blade Runner for cinematography.
Is he finally going to do it? I don't know.
Poor guy. This is, remember, below the line, the names do not appear on the ballot here.
Yeah.
So this is where we're talking about.
Which is so rude. So rude.
It is, yes. And this is where we're talking about Roger Deakins again. But last year, Kevin O'Connell, who had never.
I know, he finally won.
Finally won, and his name wasn't, and it was an upset too. So maybe the Academy members were thinking, oh, well, let's give it to Kevin, or maybe this year, let's give it.
They really need to like push that narrative, like that he still hasn't won.
Pushed like, every year and he doesn't win.
I know.
I'm tired of it, maybe.
I mean, yeah, I feel like Dunkirk is like the only other option there.
Yeah, I could see that.
I know.
This is a very weird year, isn't it, Joyce? Let's talk about that because we're looking for tea leaves anywhere,
and there aren't any.
There aren't any, and there are very conflicting signals here all over the place. We'll all be smarter after this weekend. Remember, Moonlight did win Best Picture, Drama Picture last year at the Globes. That told us to take it seriously, and it won nothing else, right? As I recall,
it didn't win any of the other three major guilds. Yeah, I think I was predicting it for SAG Ensemble, and then Hidden Figures won. So that's when I kind of like went off the Moonlight Best Picture train a little bit, just because I feel like if it had won SAG Ensemble, I would have I don't know if I would actually switch to predict Moonlight winning Best Picture, but I would like thought about it more.
Yeah,
But Hidden Figures won, so yeah, I feel like you know, we don't know anything right now, but it also could just be one of those years where once one thing starts winning, it could just steamroll the rest of the way.
That's what will happen.
But I'm kind of hoping it's more up in the air and it's like different people and different films winning different things. Because I think that's just more exciting. Like we've had so many years, the past couple years, where it's just like one thing sweeping, or even when it was Boyhood sweeping all the Critics Awards, once it turned to the industry, it was all Birdman.
Right.
And that got kind of boring. So
well, we are at least successfully at Gold Derby, we experts and everyone pitching in with predictions, we are narrowing the field down correctly. I mean, remember, we start this in middle August, for God's sake. And weeks before the film festivals and stuff, we start sticking our necks out. And what amazes me about our website all the time is that we really do narrow it down. This year, we're torn about what might be out front completely. We could make a case for 6 or 7 of these movies winning Best Picture at this point. But I am happy with our predictions so far that we have narrowed down these races successfully. But what happens from here on with wild cards like Get Out in there and 3 Billboards and
I know, and then PGA is Friday, so that will help narrow down a little bit more too.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Right. What contenders or what films are you personally rooting for?
Lady Bird, maybe, but if you couldn't tell from my predictions. But yeah, that's my favorite film of the year. So I would love to see it win anything. So I'm kind of sad that like Greta's not a producer on it, because then like she can't win Best Picture, you know?
Right.
So it's like she needs to win screenplay or director, so to get her own statuette.
Right.
But I love Lady Bird. I love A Ghost Story, which is not going to show up anywhere. But that was probably like my second favorite film of the year.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. I love like The Post. I really enjoyed.
I love The Post.
And yeah, and Shape of Water. It was just so beautiful.
And Lady Bird, I love. And 3 Billboards, I really, really loved. Call Me by Your Name, I liked a lot. I understand why people are turning on about it.
I just want Michael Stuhlbarg to get it.
Yeah, I know he's getting shut out here and there, but yet he could.
But I feel like he could. I mean, he's in 3 Best Picture contenders. Like he could just pull a John C. Reilly.
Yes.
And I feel like even though like, you know, Armie got in over him at the Globes and they both missed SAG, like he could get in over Armie at the Oscars. Like he's just like that type of performer and actor, like the character actor who's been in the business for a really long time, that they would just typically nominate in that category more, and he has the scene.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Any final thoughts here?
I don't know what I'm doing, so
none of us do. That's the fun.
Maybe after Sunday, I'll like. This is like the time of the year, like before everything, where I'm just like, I don't know what's going on, and I don't.
Well, now you tell us that now that we've hired.
I know.
God, why didn't you tell me that before we offered you a job? You don't know anything. But
just copy all my predictions, and I'll take you down with me. So.
I should, because you're so consistently good. But you know, I could probably, a lot of us could score better if we just went with the official Gold Derby odds. They tend to win.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes I do that. I'm just like, I don't know what, like I haven't seen these yet, like the foreign language films. I'm like, I'm just doing the top 5 here.
And the official odds of Gold Derby, by the way, to people watching and listening to this, historically they do best. So when you have our magic mix of combination, where we combine experts, editors, top 24, all-stars, top 24 users, and all users into a magic mix, 50% of that is weighted toward the experts, and then the rest of it is everybody else. And historically, the combined odds have done better than the experts and any one of us experts. So, except maybe you, Joyce. But so it's always a good idea to go with the things. But what I like about the site, and what I like about your fresh perspective joining us here while we try to noodle these things, is the fact that I want to beat myself. I want to be the only expert at Gold Derby to predict a win for Eddie Redmayne at SAG, and I was. I want to be the only expert at Gold Derby who predicted a win at DGA for Inarritu, and I was. Everyone else was on that.
You did Spotlight.
And I got Spotlight in the home stretch there switching. So I have my little things to own, and that's the pleasure of it all, is going your own way and feeling strongly about stuff, and you're a master of that. What's the secret?
I try not to go out on too many limbs, like just like one or two, like Get Out, which I didn't feel like was a limb, but then no one else predicted it for SAG. So I guess I can own that. But yeah, I try not to go too crazy. And then I mean, I just like talk to myself in my head and try to, if I like land on something, I try to justify it to myself, even though it might not be the proper logic. But I always try to like give myself a reasoning for picking that person or film. So I overthink a lot of things.
What's your favorite correct prediction of them all? Do you have like one or two that you're just like, I nailed it, I really got that one?
I was proud of Dev Patel last year for the BAFTAs, which I thought like made sense to me. And then what else has there been? There's been a couple of when Mr. Hublot won animated short a couple of years ago. I like just watched and I switched it. And then when Tilda Swinton won that supporting actress of the year 10 years ago, when it was split up between everyone basically, and then I just went with, because she won the BAFTA, and I just went with the BAFTA winner because it was like the most recent, and there's a large British voting block as well. And Michael Clayton was a Best Picture nominee with 3 acting nominations. And I was like working at OK Magazine at the time, and like everyone like thought I was crazy. They weren't like into awards at all or anything, but they were just like, it's not gonna be Cate Blanchett. Like she's got 2 nominations. I was like, no, they're not giving it to her. They're not giving her 2 supporting actress Oscars. Right. And she had just won like, you know, a couple years before that for The Aviator. Right. So yeah, I'm proud of that one. I don't know. There's probably a few more.
But I love the fact that
I'm proud of like
that you confess that this stuff keeps you up at night. It keeps all of us up.
It does.
That we really obsess and we really care. And it's great that what I love so much is you've only been working with us now a couple of days, but the discussions with you, Joyce, you just bring this fresh perspective. We are in our own little bubble over here all the time, and we talk ourselves into things. And we need those fresh perspectives, and you've got those, and you've got the historic context. You know all this stuff, who won what year, and all of that stuff, and that's where we're all looking for patterns that will inform our best predictions now.
Which is why I hate the new Emmys system, because I can't.
I know.
It's all my old stats.
I know.
I just want the tape system back.
But you know, Joyce, with this current Emmys, the combined odds of Gold Derby were astoundingly accurate, like 80%, like 78%. A good Emmy prediction score in the past, when the panel system worked, and when it was down to just, you know, viewing DVDs at home and only 50 to 70 voters per category and all that up until recently, a good score would be 60% for anyone, or 62% or something. But now with the new system, just go with the popular vote.
Yeah.
Even though the popular favorites didn't win, there were a lot of big surprises, but yet like Tatiana Maslany 2 years ago would not have won under the old system. But changing these methods on us now really throws us.
It's like you can tell in like certain places where they actually paid attention, and others are just like completely popular votes.
I know.
Whereas like the tape system, it's like you were more primed for upsets, and it's like these guys really paid attention and watched.
Yeah. So. Okay, well, good luck. I'm going to beat you this year.
Thank you.
One of these award shows, okay? That's a promise. Let me have one. You can beat me with all the others.
Just pick Get Out for something, your favorite movie of the year.
Okay. Thanks, Joyce. Happy New Year.
Thanks.